Hello, Oilers fans. Austin here with the day after discussion of the Oilers 3-2 overtime victory over the Montreal Canadiens. Now, if you are new to the channel or if you've tuned in before but you're not yet subscribed and you want to see more videos like this, the day after is just an episodic series where I just talk about the game the day after every single Oilers match. So this is the one for the Habs and Oilers game, and there's a lot to talk about, so let's kind of jump into this. The Oilers improved to 41-21-4 on the season, and they remain 5 points up on the Kings and 7 points up on the Golden Knights with 2 games in hand on both. So the Oilers sit very comfortably in that second place position in the Pacific, and if that position holds, which I think it will, I'm not sure if they can catch Vancouver. They might. Who knows? Vancouver would have to start losing a bunch, and Edmonton's going to have to start winning a bunch. They do have one more match head-to-head against each other, but I'm assuming Edmonton is going to end up in the second place spot, and they're going to have home ice in round 1. But in terms of the Oilers' play against Montreal, I think there's a lot to be desired, especially at 5-on-5. But Calvin Pickard, he improves to 10-4-0 on the year. He has a 2.25 goals against average and a .919 save percentage. Calvin Pickard has been everything you could want from your backup goaltender, and I'm very happy that he has been playing well for Edmonton. It's nice when he can step in and give the team a chance to win. He's pretty much given Edmonton a chance to win every time he plays, so that's nice to see. But speaking of goaltending, I feel like it is masking some problems, as I mentioned previously, at 5-on-5. Now, since February 26th, and this is via natural stat trick, the Oilers rank 15th in expected goals for percentage, and they are riding a PDO of 105 in that time. They are, I believe, 8-1-2 in those 11 games since February 26th, so they are winning a ton. However, goaltending is kind of the big reason why. Edmonton is not dominating games at 5-on-5 like they had been in the past, especially on that 16-game win streak, the way they played in January and early February. The Oilers, they're not. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just line combinations that are being changed up, if the trade deadline passing and having new guys inserted into the lineup has affected anything. I know Desharnais, he didn't play against Montreal. He's dealing with a finger or hand injury, so Stecher stepped in. But I know looking at the advanced metrics, Edmonton's got to be careful here. There could be some regression, and you could see the team lose a few games here and there moving forward, because obviously riding a PDO of 105 is not very sustainable. And their expected goals for percentage, they are middle of the pack. They have games like against Boston and Pittsburgh where they play well and they score a ton of goals. And then they have games like against Montreal, Colorado, where, even though they have a lot of chances themselves, they are giving up a ton of chances on their own side. And looking at the defense pairs, Kulak-Ceci, when they're together, they are just getting absolutely caved in. Their expected goals for against the Habs, and I know I don't like to put too much stock in like one game sample sizes, but Kulak and Ceci, they had an expected goals for percentage of 13%, which is just terrible. Like, that's just really bad in any game, doesn't matter. And I find when Kulak and Ceci are paired together, they don't play very well. Now, Kulak, he's a good skater. He can skate out of trouble, and he can get a good first pass out of the zone. Cody Ceci, he's not particularly fast. He doesn't have particularly great, puck handling. He's not a particularly great passer. So when he's out there, and he's not out there against top competition right now, he's down on that third pair. He's only getting 14, 15 minutes a night tops, and he is struggling in my eyes. Troy Stecher, he stepped in, and he looks okay. He looked okay with Darnell Nurse. I found that defense pair, they were a little scrambly at times. They weren't terrible. They weren't great. But I think for Troy Stecher, it's hard to ask a brand new defenseman to step in and just know the team system and be ready to play top 4 minutes with Nurse. So that could be a bit of an adjustment, which I totally understand. I'll give Troy Stecher the benefit of the doubt because I do like Stecher. But in terms of his play with the Oilers so far, he's only been in 2 games, and we'll see if he can improve on his play. And then when we look at Ekholm and Bouchard, they are, of course, terrific. They do give up a few chances on their own end, but in terms of their ability to be on the ice and keep the puck going forward into the offensive zone, getting the puck to guys like McDavid and Draisaitl, that is a good thing, and they are very good at it. Now, speaking of Evan Bouchard, he becomes the first Oilers defenseman to hit the 50 assist mark in a single season since Paul Coffey, and I'm very happy for Evan Bouchard. The team is very lucky to have him on the team. For all the, all the commotion and all the discussion about the defensive game for Evan Bouchard, he is second or third on the team in plus minus. If you put stock in a plus minus, great. If you don't, I understand. I don't put a whole lot of stock into it, but I do like to mention it because there's fans that like plus minus as a stat. Ekholm leads the team in plus minus, I believe. But Evan Bouchard, he is a very good defenseman. Edmonton is very lucky to have him, and he is going to command a very large chunk of cash to keep after his bridge deal is over. But in terms of Evan Bouchard's play, I could not be happier, and I think he does more good than bad. I think his offense completely outweighs whatever potential defensive deficiencies are in his game. And right now he's playing top competition. He's playing 22, 23, sometimes 24 minutes a night. And I think he's holding his own against top caliber players. So that's very nice to see. Another thing I want to talk about is Adam Henrique. He scored his first goal as an Oiler, so congrats to Adam Henrique. I don't know if anyone tuned into the After Hours segment on Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday after their game against the Avalanche, but Adam Henrique, he was pretty emotional talking about his family, his kids, the adjustment to a new team, not being home right now. It was an emotional interview, and it made me just appreciate Adam Henrique a lot more. He's a very good person. I think he is terrific on this team. He's going to be a good fit once he's just more adjusted, I guess I should say. And he scored his 19th goal of the season, and he wears number 19, and he scored the goal on March 19th. So that is a ton of number 19s. Just a fun little fact there. Happy for Adam Henrique. Hopefully he can build off this moving forward. And then another talking point I wanted to just briefly discuss is the Oilers team speed. Now, Montreal, they played a very stingy neutral zone. They prevented Edmonton from attacking off the rush, and they also prevented Edmonton from establishing their cycle game. Now, I mentioned in a video the other day, the Oilers should be a cycle team because they're not particularly fast. They have fast players, and they have players who can kill you on the rush. McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, these guys, McLeod, Fogle, these are fast players who can get in. If they strip another team in the neutral zone, if they get the puck on the rush, they can attack you. However, the Oilers game should be suited to a ground and pound cycle style game because I don't think Edmonton is fast enough to play with, teams like Colorado. Once Colorado opened up against Edmonton on Saturday, once they were able to open up the neutral zone, Edmonton was feasted on. And anyone that watched this game should be able to recognize that the Oilers should not be playing a rush back and forth style game. They should be playing very stingy neutral zone, and they should be playing a heavy forecheck cycle game to generate offense. Get the puck down low, work it around, get it to the point, shoot it, crash the net for rebounds, or work it down low and then look for passes in the slot area. Guys like McDavid, they're amazing at finding open space, and they can do things on an individual level. But as a team, what do you think? Is the team fast enough? If the Oilers played Colorado, let's pretend the conference finals, I'm looking way ahead here. This is just a hypothetical. Would the Oilers be able to hold their own in a speed game against Colorado? Absolutely not. I think they're going to have to do what some other teams do, recognize where their weaknesses are and make an adjustment and try and negate the other team's style of play and then play their own. They need to dictate their own style of play. And when I watch the Oilers, I actually don't know what their team identity is. Are they a heavy forecheck team? Are they a attack off the rush team? The Oilers, they're kind of an interesting team. They can do both, but I think Chris Knobloch, I'm not a coach. I'm not a coach. So it's hard for me to sit here and say what Chris Knobloch should do. But in my opinion, I hope Chris Knobloch can find a way to establish some sort of structure and identity heading into the playoffs, because once Edmonton has that identity, they have some swagger and they're able to capitalize on their style of play, they're going to be they're going to be a handful to deal with in the playoffs. Any team with McDavid and Draisaitl is going to be a handful to deal with. But I think once Edmonton, they're winning and they're having a good season. Obviously, they had that bad start, but I think there's another gear they can hit And I don't think they've hit that extra gear yet. So next thing I wanted to talk about is Evander Kane and his recent offensive struggles. Evander Kane, he has 0 goals in his last 14 games. I was going to say he only has 1 goal. No, he has 0 goals in his last 14 games. Now, I put out a tweet about this, and there was a lot of feedback, which I greatly appreciate, by the way. I'm not bringing up Evander Kane's play because I dislike the player. I love Evander Kane. I love his swagger. When he is on, he is impossible to deal with if you're a defender, and he can change the look of a game just on his own, the physicality he brings. And once the playoffs start and that intensity rises to a 10, Evander Kane, he will rise that level to a 10 as well. And there's value in the playoffs with Evander Kane. Don't get me wrong. But right now, it is hard watching him struggle. He played on the first line with McDavid against Montreal. They had some looks. Kane, I thought, actually looked pretty decent. He was good on the second unit power play. I thought the second unit was the only unit that was actually generating a decent amount of chances until Draisaitl scored the winner in overtime. But Evander Kane, I'm curious to see if he was played with Connor McDavid against Montreal, just to try and get him going a little bit. Kane has been vocal in the past about, his ice time being dropped, being put down on the third line. But I'm curious to see how you get Evander Kane going. And obviously, I don't know what it's like coming back from the wrist injury that he had. It was horrifying. He has opened up about his mental struggles when it comes to the aftermath of an injury like that. I couldn't even imagine. That's terrifying. And who knows? He might not even have 100% strength in that wrist to get his shots off. He's a left-handed shooter, and that was his left wrist that was cut, I believe. So it's tough for a shooter to, come back from something like that. So I am giving Evander Kane the benefit of the doubt here, but I did want to bring it up because I think it's, he makes over $5 million a year. He does have 21 goals this year, which again, that's not bad. He is a guy that will give you 20 plus goals. However, there was an interesting stat that someone posted on Twitter. I'll have to find the tweet. I think he has 5 goals this season against playoff teams, or 5 goals since December or something against playoff teams. I just ignore that. I'll have to find the actual stat. I'm not going to sit here and put out any fake news, but that's kind of just what I wanted to talk about in the video today. The Oilers, just as a whole, I mentioned their record, Pickard improving to 10-4. Goaltending is masking some recent 5-on-5 play issues, in my opinion. Kulak-Ceci, not a good defensive pair. Need to change that up. Adam Henrique's first goal as an Oiler. Super happy. Is the team fast enough? I want to know your thoughts on that in the comment section. Evander Kane's recent offensive struggles. Is he due to break out? We will see. And then, of course, Evan Bouchard's play, becoming the first Oilers defenseman since Paul Coffey to have 50 assists in a season. Just a quick recap on this whole video. If you like these day after discussions and you want to see more, make sure you hit like and subscribe. It goes a long way in supporting the channel. And as always, I appreciate you guys and girls and everyone else tuning in. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. Your support means the world to me. I love wearing this heavy victory chain around my neck, even though it hurts. It's just me complaining now. But yeah, not a whole lot else that I want to talk about. I think I got everything out of the way here. So give me all of your thoughts in the comments section. I read every single comment. I love the feedback that you all provide. It is terrific. I love when fans of other teams chime in and give me their thoughts too on the Oilers and their team's play. So if you are a Habs fan, or if you're a fan of another team where this video was just recommended, I'd love to hear your thoughts in general too. I love hockey. I love talking about hockey. Doesn't always have to be about the Oilers. So you guys let me know all of your thoughts and opinions, and I will see you in the pregame report, which will come out tomorrow against, before the game against Buffalo. That's who Edmonton plays next. They will play at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time tomorrow, which is Thursday. So have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. I know this video is kind of scatterbrained. I kind of get scatterbrained in these day after discussions, but that's just me. You guys take care. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next one.